Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe for a lot of please. Thanks to 17 subscribers by the way. Well, we're back with the tables from of course today. It's of course the 26th of July, about a week or two until the National League now. I think it's like 12 or 13 days, so less than a week until the National League season is back. We are doing our National League official table today. So let's get straight into it. So we are starting from 24th to the top. In 24th place, I've got Hortchurch. Sorry to any Hortchurch fans watching this. I just think, you know, they've came up this season from, of course, the South, and fair play to them beating Torquay in the final because, of course, no one expected that. But I just think their ground is too tiny. And I think if you look at their signings, they brought in a couple of good signings. They brought in Joe Kissy from Barnet. I think he's a really good signing. They brought in him. They brought in Mackie Welsh from Leyton Orient. I think he's a young, good signing. Tom Dallison from Ebbsfleet. Josh Walker from Southend. I think this one is a good signing. Nathan Ferguson from Hartlepool, cause has experience in the National League. They brought in Arthur Nassar from Wolves, Frankie Morley from Bromley, Jack Baldwin from Colchester, Jack Powell from Crewe, I think is a good signing, Ryan Ipswich from Forest Green, and Asher Yarwood from Mainsted. So couple of good signings, but I think they've got a couple of good players in, like Harry Gibbs, Nathan Burtham, Josh Hare. So yes, they've brought in, you know, quite a couple of players. I think they've made 11 signings, but they have got rid of some really good players. Definitely that Harry Gibbs, I think he was really good for them last season. So yeah, I do think Hortchurch will finish bottom of league. Sorry to any Hortchurch fans watching this. In 23rd place, I've got another team who just came up, and that is AFC Fylde. Of course, they've just came out. They've won the National League North. Fair play to them. But I am not. I think their of course, summer transfers have been absolutely appalling. They've only made four signings. I think that could be good in one way because you don't want to rotate all your squad, but then when you come up, you want to make loads of signings. They've brought in Cedric Main from Darlington. I think he's an okay player. They brought in Dylan Allen from Telford, who I think is a good. That's probably to be honest, they probably made two really good signings. That's one of them. The other really good signing is Adam Lewis from Morecambe. I think he's a really quality player. And they brought in Aaron Drew from Woking, who I think is an okay player. But they've got rid of quite a lot in Charlie Jolly, Kieran Coates, Luke Hunter, Taylor O'Kane, George Wilson, you know. So I just don't think Fylde. I think they need to make quite a lot, you know, of good signings, and they just ain't done that yet. So I'm really worried for them. I think any Fylde fan would say they need to make more signings if they want to stay in this division, and they just ain't done that. But yeah. In 22nd place, off went Eastleigh. I think they were down there last season, of course. Really struggled in this league last season, Eastleigh. They've been struggling the last 2 seasons, to be fair. And I think they could be the season they go down, because teams are improving this summer. And I think this National League table was really hard for me to do, because everyone is improving. Of course, there's a couple of teams who have been taken over as well. So I think Eastleigh will go down in 22nd place. They've, of course, made 7 signings. Of course, a couple of good players in Baker from Cheltenham, Hadi Gunkar from Aldershot, Will Randell, Harry Sidwell from Wimbledon, Ben Drake from Millwall, of course, Matt Stickwell from Mansfield. And I think probably their best signing is Nick Ackle from Burton Albion. I think he's a really good player. But the players they've got rid of him: Richard Brinley, Lord Humphreys, Niall Mayer, Paul McCallum, Jake Funkins, Sam Persian, Kieran Evans, to Newport. I think, these... I just think Eastleigh are going to struggle the upcoming season. And to be honest, I think if you look at it, I think most people would probably say they of course would. But yeah, we have to wait and see. In 21st place, I've got Kidderminster. They've of course just came up as well. From the National League North, winning in the player final against South Shields. Fair play to them coming up, and I think it's going to be a good game when Tamworth take on them, because of course it's a bit of a derby. They've made quite a lot of good signings, but I just think this league is harder. I do think they'll give it a go, but the signings they've made, I think they've made like 9 or 10, but they've signed Callum Dolan from Torquay, who I think is a good signing. Ben Cropton from Ross County, used to play for Tamworth, a really good defender. That's a good signing. Max Brogan from Scunthorpe, another good signing. Of course, used to play for us as well. Lewis Walker from Braintree, I think he was their best player. Probably the best signing is Zach Brown, who they've signed from Brackley. I think that's a quality signing. Also, Ollie Timpton from Solihull, Zach Wills from Birmingham. They've signed a couple of good players, but I just think it's a hard league now, and I think they've sold 3 or 4 of their best players as well. So yeah, but like I said, we will have to wait and see. But yeah, in 20th place, just staying up, I've got Gateshead. I know most people have backed them to go down this season coming up, but I have just backed them to of course stay up. I think they could go down. I think losing Rob Elliott, of course their manager, to Carlisle, and only making 3 signings this window is not great for them. They've signed, of course, Tom Lethry from Sunderland, Luke Sulkick from Wellington, and Jack Robertson. Not gonna lie, I've not heard any of them names, so I can't really say. But only making 3 signings is not good. Of course, they got rid of Jacob Butterfield. Of course, he went back to Scunny, and Brad Nicholas. Like, they've sold a couple of their best players as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Gateshead go down, but I've just got on staying up. But yeah. Moving on then, in 19th place, I've got Altium in standard of Alti. I don't know with this one. They've made 6 signings. I really like their manager. I think he can always keep them up. If they're in trouble, he will, like, you know, go on a 5 or 6 game unbeaten run. So this why I'll put him to be down there. But I think their manager, he always keeps them up. But of course they've signed Sam Taylor from Tranmere, Aidan Barlow, who I think is a good signing from Rochdale, also Liam Umbuns from Rochdale as well, Jack Hinkey from Notts County, Kieran Dennis, Kristen Dennis, sorry, from Tranmere. And I think another good signing is Owen Evans from Barnet. So they've signed a couple of good players, but haven't made a lot of course, transfers. Of course, they got rid of Lewis Baines, what I think is a really big miss. I think he was a really good player for them. St Maria, again, another good player. Taylor Golden. So they, Sam Reed, they have got rid of a couple of players, and this is why I think they will be down there again. But I just think they have enough to stay up. So 19 players, I'll Jim. In 18th, I have got Wellstone. And I didn't know with this one, because everyone backed them last season to actually go down. And they actually, they were top of the league for most of the season, finished just outside of the top 10, did they? So they had a really good season. So I think this one was hard for me. I didn't know where to go, but I do think with teams improving, I think they might drop off. And they've only made 5 signings as well this window so far. They've signed Joe Newton from Bournemouth, what I think is a good signing. Kyle Smith from Millwall, Jaden Harris from Sutton, I think that's another good signing. Aaron Henry from Bournemouth, and Dan Chesters from Salford. So they've made a couple of good signings, but then they've got rid of players like Junior Tisson, Omar, Musa, Dom Hutchison, what I think is really been missed, but he was one of their best players. Nathan Shakuna as well. So they've got rid of a couple of players. Atoir as well. So this way I think they will be down there next season, and I think we'll have to wait and see how the start of the season does for them. Let me know your thoughts, Wellstone fans. Do you think you will struggle, or do you think you'll be where you was last season? Let me know. In 17th place, I've got Aldershot. Aldershot is a funny one. I think, you know, they've brought in a new manager. They've made basically, they've made their whole squad anew, and it could go one way or another. It could go really well, or it could go really bad. They've signed they've made 18 signings. What really could go one way or the other, to be fair. It could go really bad, or, like I said, really good. They've signed John Gilbert from Maidstone, Adam Mackey from Enfield, Kiki Oscar from Slough, Dominic from Chelmsford, Quarker Frimpong from Worthing, Mishi from Yeovil, Jacob Borger from Reading, Michael Sickland from Reading, Barthel Tuma from Reading, Marcus Riley from Gillingham, Sandler from Farnborough, Nick Haynes from Hartlepool, what I think is their best signing, Charlie Patmore from Bedford, Marcus Dinger from Bromley. So I'll probably only know 2 or 3 of their new signings, really. I've not heard most of them. But I just think, you know, they've got rid of loads of players and they've brought in loads of players. So I think that could go one way or the other. I think they will be fine and stay up. But I am putting them 17th. In 16th, I've got Boston. I don't know what to say about Boston because, to be honest, everyone at the start of the window said about, I think it was like a week, no, probably about 3 or 4 weeks into, of course, when the season ended, and said Boston hadn't made any signings, you know, and now they've made a couple. They've made, I think they've made 4, 6, 7, 10. They've made 13 signings. What? I don't know, because I think Boston are a good side on their day. They can beat top teams. You've seen it last season. They're a very good team. They've signed, of course, Gaffin Holland from Hartlepool, what I think is a really good pickup. Passo from Lincoln, again, good pickup. They've signed Angermang from Morecambe, again, another good pickup. Lewis Shipley from Barrow, what I think is probably their best signing I've known anyway. So yeah, they've signed a couple of good players, but I can't seem to get an eye out. I just think teams are improving now, and I think this is what me and Boston need to try and improve to make probably. I reckon they probably need to make 2 or 3 more signings to try and get up there, but we'll have to wait and see. But in 16th, I've got Boston. In 15th was a really hard one, but I've got Worthing in 15th. I just think it could be, I don't know, they've just came up from the south, of course, winning the league, and fair play to them winning the league. I think they did really well last season, and I think, you know, I've put them here. Yes, people probably will put them to go down, but they've got a really good manager. They've got a really good manager in Hinsworth, who used to Manchester York. Yeah, they've got a good manager in Hinsworth who used to Manchester York. I think that's a really good pickup, and that's why they won the league last season. And they've signed 8 new players in Noel Hussin from Southend, Harvey from QPR, Jack Radham from Sutton, Ricky Arga from York. So yeah, I think it is a really good pickup, and yeah, I just think they will finish in 15th. In 14th, I've got Woking. I think Woking is one of them. I just think, I don't know, I think with losing their manager name, Defoe, I think they could even finish lower. They've signed 8 new players in Ogre from Gillingham, Liam Dawson from Mainshead, Harrison's Sona from Hereford. So I am going to put them in 14, but they could even finish lower, but it depends what manager they bring in, so we will wait and see. In 13th, I've got Solihull. I just think, you know, of course, not many of us like Solihull on this video because most of my subs are Tamil fans, so we know. But yeah, in 13th Solihull, I think they ain't going to improve. I think they finished about there last season. They've signed a couple of players in Matty Carson from Boston, what I think is a good pickup. Joe Sibbar from Doncaster, Jamie Andrews from Woking, Junior Tisson from Wellstone, I think is a really good pickup. Rio Simpson from Sheffield Wednesday as well. So a couple of good players. But yeah, we'll see. In 12th place, I've got Halifax. I think Halifax is just I think they're gonna struggle. I think if we look at Halifax, transfer window. Let me just get Halifax transfer window up. So we look at Halifax transfers. What can I see Halifax? Oh, there we go. So Halifax transfers, they've bought in a couple of players. We'll talk about the players who've gone out in a minute, but they have bought in 8 new players. In Mackenzie Matthew from Sheffield Wednesday, Connor Douglas from Leeds United under 21s. They bought in Connor Carty from Waterford. So yeah, they brought in a couple of okay players, but the players going out is ridiculous. Like Nat Ford to Solihull, Tom Polk, Joe Cummings, Jonathan Mills, Will Smith. I think the big one everyone they talk about is Will Harris going out, and I think that's a really big miss. They've lost their manager, they're bought in a new one. So yeah, I think that is a really bad pickup, but we will have to run and see. In 11th place then, I've got Yeovil. Yes, Yeovil of course have been taken over, and this is why I've put them there. I think they're going to be really good. Yes, it could be another way and they could be really bad, but I just rate their window they've signed. I think they've had a really good window. They've signed quite a lot of players. They've signed 13 players. Sam Waterbrook, Mason Ogg, Jolie Powell, Stephen Walker, Archer Davies, Joe Gibbons. So I think they've had a really, really good window, and I know people probably put they ain't getting 11. I know some people put 15th. Well, it's sort of near 11th, but I think they're gonna have a really good season. So yeah. Getting into the top 10 and 10 teams to go with. In 10th place, I've got Sutton. Sutton, I think they are going to improve from last season. They have to, because if they don't, then I don't know if they're going to ever really go back up from League 2, but to League 2, sorry. But if they get 10th, I think the season after this season, so next season, they could really get playoffs. They've signed 3, 4, 5, 6. They've signed 8 players, and the 2 signings, what I think is really good, is Charlie Carter from Dorking. Of course, Tamworth fans wanted him. Very good player. And Armour Musa, from Wellstone. Now what I think is really good 2 signings for them. But yeah. Get on to 9th place then, and it is our boys Tamworth. Yes, I have put Tamworth to get into 9th place. One, we've been taken over, and I'm really looking forward to this season. I think the American owners, they meet the fans, they talk to the fans about stuff. So they're really good. And I think the signings we've made as well, of course, we've made quite a lot, to be fair. We've made 12 signings. We've signed Morgan Roberts from Brackley, what I think is a really good signing. TJ Bamber from Maidstone, again, class signing. I think he won player of the season for Maidstone last season as well in the south. Ollie Dyson from Spennymoor, what I think is a really good pickup. He looks sharp in pre-season. Joshua Bailey from Worcester. Tom Hanley from Merth. Tom Forkey from Birmingham. Tom Parkis from Hartlepool, again another good signing. Tyler Litt from Brackley. Jake Hutchinson from Folkestone, he looks like a top striker. Ricky Carter from Brackley. Kieran Donnelly from Boston. What a player. When we signed him, I said, wow, because he is an absolute quality signing. And Nathan Shakuna from Wellstone, okay, he's been at us before, really good signing. Glad to have him back. With the players going out, we've of course got rid of Jordan Pochinelli, who went to Real Bedford, Callum Cockermollet, who went to Leamington, Matt Curley, who went to Telford, Ken Diggy, who went to Barrow, I think probably is of course a big miss. Tom Tonks went to Stafford Rangers. Stephen Moles went to Accrington Stanley, what I think is a good pickup from them. And Alfie Bates went to Dorgad United. So yeah, I think we will finish 9th. I don't think we are that team to get playoffs yet. I think I've been speaking to Tamworth fans, and I think we need 1 or 2 seasons in the National League, because we are still part-time till next season. Then we are full-time next season. So, you know, let's see what we can do. But I do think we will finish 9th. In 8th place, I've got Harrogate. I think this actually is going to be... I think Harrogate, they've just came down from League 2, by the way. I just don't think they're going to go... straight back up, and I don't think they're going to get into the playoffs. I think they're just going to miss out. You know, I think it's really hard, to be fair. But yeah, I do think Harrogate will just miss out. Just looking at their signings, they've signed 4, 5, 6. They've signed 8 players. They bought in Bailey Hobson from Chesterfield, what I think is a good signing, to be fair. Will McGrone from Gateshead. Morgan Williams from Kings Lynn. Roy Watson from York, I think is a good pickup. Lewis Payne from Morecambe, what I think is probably their best signing. Archer Basie from Middlesbrough. So, couple of good players there, but I just think it's going to take a season or 2 for them. You know what happened with Sutton, so it could be similar to that, but no, I just think they'll just miss out. In 7th place, I've got Forest Green Rovers, then just getting inside of them playoffs. Yes, I do think Forest Green will make the playoffs. I think with Robbie Savage in charge, I think he's a really good head coach, a really good manager. Of course, he was at Macclesfield and look what he did there. So I think it's a really, you know, good getting him in. I think last season they did well with him as well. Couple of players, not a lot of players. They've signed, I think, 6 players. Bringing in Kyle AJ from Hampstead Town. Owen Ewing from Scuddy. I think that's probably their best player. James Berry on loan from Wickham. Aoki Obi from Kiddie. So a couple of good players. They have got rid of a couple of their main players in Harvey Bunker, Tom Knowles, Harry Cardwell, Kieran Harris, of course Mendy went, Bamba. So they have got rid of a couple of their main players, but I do think Forest Green have enough to get in there. In 6th place, I'm going to put Hartlepool then. I think they're going to have a really good season. I think they've been taken over as well. A really good manager with the players they've brought in. I think they've made loads of good players. I think they've brought in 5, 6, 7. They've made 13 signings. They've brought in Jordan Ugle from Watford, what I did not expect them to get, but a really good pickup. Jack Knoll from Morecambe, Corey McComb from Spennymoor, Owen Hampson from Sheffield United, Will Harris from Halifax, of course, Terry Bundle from Blackpool, Liam Gibson from Harrogate, Callum John from York. They've signed quite a lot of good players, and I think they're going to have a really good season. And I hope they do. They're a really good side. I think the main thing about Hartlepool now this season that they need to score more, because last season, literally they didn't concede many, what was good. But they didn't score many, and that's why they didn't make the playoffs last season. If they scored loads last season, I think they would have got into the playoffs. So in 6th place, I am going to go Hartlepool. In 5th place, I'm going to go Scunthorpe. I think you probably expect Scunny to be around here. You know, yes, they haven't made a lot of signings. I think they've brought in 7 new signings. Luke Brennan from Buxton, what I think is a really good pickup. Jordan Richards from Boston, Callum Howe from York, Regan Ogle from Oldham, of course he was at Scunny before, Jacob Butterfield, who was there as well, but I could brought them 2 back. Not a lot of players going out either. I think, of course, Callum Roberts was a big miss for them. But every Scunny fan knew he was going to leave if they didn't go up. But I think Scunny fans wanted to keep Owen Oliver Ewing, who went to Forest Green, but I think he's probably a big blow as well. But yeah, I think Scunny, I think they're going to be good, and I think they'll finish in 5th place. In 4th place, I have got Boreham Wood. Boreham Wood, I think, you know, they got to the player final last season. Could play in Rochdale. They could have got promoted. They were 2-0 up, I think, with like 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go. And they drew 2-2. And then I think, then of course Rochdale beat them. So really poor from Boreham Wood. So it could be one of them where that could get to your head now and they could really drop. But I think they've got a really good manager. Yes, they have only made 4 signings this summer. What, you know, it's not good, but all of their best players have stayed, and everyone was talking about that as the other window. If Boreham Wood players can leave, all their best ones, and is that going to be a blow? But no, they've all stayed, and they've only got rid of like 5-6 players anyway. They've signed 4. They've signed Luca Gunter from Spurs on a season-long loan, Oliver Bambridge from Sunderland, Terry Acker from Rochdale, and I think this is a good signing. Tyler Tyler Golden from Alty, what I think is a good pickup as well. So I do think Bournemouth will have enough to get into at least that top 5, but I just think they will get into fourth place. In third place was a tricky one. I think top 2 are probably going to be easy, but third I think was really hard to see who would of course finish there, but I am going to go with Southend. I think Southend, they've brought in a new manager. Of course, they lost their manager, but they've brought in a new manager. They've made quite a lot of signings, what we'll get on to in a minute. Yes, they've probably got rid of a couple of good players, but they've signed 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 new signings. They've brought in Harry Cardwell from Forest Green, what I think is a really good signing. Anthony Hargin from Barnet, Lewis Tampley from Merv, Joe Duncan from Bristol City, Tommy Bracknell from Cheltenham. So they've signed quite a lot of good players. I think they ain't actually sold loads of good players. I think the main one who they wanted to keep is Scott Morris, who went to Oldham. But I think he deserves, of course, a big move in League Two. As a fullback, I think he was their top scorer with 19 goals last season. That says something. So yeah, I do think Southend will be a lot better, and I think they will finish in third. In second place, then I have got Barrow. They've just came down from League Two, and I just think Barrow. I just think that they're gonna be good in this league, and I think they might even win the playoffs. I don't know. They could even win the league, but I think it's gonna be really tough between second and top. They've signed Alex Reid from Hartlepool, what I think is a good pickup. They've signed, of course, Kenny Diggy from Tamworth, another good pickup. Isaac Marriott from Alty. Of course, Paul Culligan from Dagenham, Ollie Cranshaw from Alty. They've signed a couple of really good players. And, of course, this boy, I just think they're going to get in second. They've just come down from League Two. They have to make a couple of good signings. National League is always hard, so it's not like they're going to just come in this league and think, we're going to bat this league. No, I think they know that it's going to be hard, and I think they will finish in second. The team to win the league then in 26 to 27 season, I have got Carlisle. I just think, I think if it wasn't for Watford and it wasn't for York last season, I think Carlisle would have won the league. I think in bringing in Rob Elliott now, I think he's a really good pickup. I've created bits for Gateshead. They haven't made a lot of signings. I think they have bought in 2 or 3 from Gateshead, to be fair, but they have only made 6 signings. They bought in Assis from Morecambe, what I think is a good signing. Archie Mayer from Morecambe as well. Harvey Bunker from Forest Green. Kenton Richardson from Gateshead. Brad Nicholson from Gateshead. And Leo Drew from Birmingham. So yeah, not a lot of signings. Not a lot of signings went out, to be fair. Of course, Sam Molly, Jordan James, Thompson Manuel. But yeah, I just think Carlisle are going to be that team now who just going to win this league. But yeah, let me know your thoughts anyway, guys. Who do you think? What is your National League table? Of course, this has been like a 40-minute video. But let me know your thoughts down below. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace out.